Most people know about ChatGPT, but now we have a new free AI tool called Claude. It is not only faster but also more creative. In this masterclass, I will teach you how to use AI for researching and learning new subjects and analyzing and writing documents. After finishing this masterclass, you'll know the top techniques for prompting AI at your day-to-day work. My name is Ansh Mehra and I train businesses about technology and design. So without further ado, let's get started. This course has 3 chapters. Number 1, Basics of AI and LLMs, then Basics of Claude AI, and then at the end, Basics of Prompt Engineering. Let's start with chapter number 1, Basics of AI and LLMs. We need to first understand what is AI, which is artificial intelligence, what is an LLM, which is a large language model, and what is a chatbot. By the way, we are distributing printed certificates of completion to students who finish all of their homework and tasks mentioned in this video. You'd need to complete 3 tasks. Task number 1 is to mention your top learnings and feedback in the comment section. If you're watching this video in gaps, take notes in a different tool, but make sure you paste all of your final notes in the comment section and do not use AI for it. I will know if you cheat. People think that AI is just about ChatGPT, whereas in reality, AI has a lot of subjects under it. So let's understand what is AI. Actually, before understanding AI, let's understand what is intelligence. See, if I had to oversimplify, I can say that if a person learns from her past experiences and successfully decides what to do today and tomorrow, then we will call that person intelligent. If a person lives life but doesn't learn from mistakes, then we don't call that person intelligent. Now, if a person learns from the mistakes of other people, we call that person even more intelligent. But how can you learn from the mistakes of other people? Of course, by reading books or listening to stories or watching movies. Basically, you consume information written by other people. Now, artificial intelligence is trying to do the same, but inside a machine. Now, imagine AI to be a box, and this box only has 2 core skills. It can read and form patterns. But right now, it has not read anything because we just created this box. So there is no reading and there is no patterns to form. Now we want this box to become intelligent, but then this box is not a living person, so it cannot learn from its own experiences. Therefore, we decide to feed our own experiences and stories into this box. So we decide to collect millions of articles and posts and images all around the internet to train this box. If needed, I can put in my own personal files as well, because it is not necessary that internet has all the relevant information that I have in my brain or in my personal files. To make this training even more high quality, maybe I can handpick and choose articles that are very well written or shortlist only high quality images, because as the owner of this box, I don't want my box to learn from low quality inspiration or terribly written articles, right? So we first put in a lot of information in this AI box so that with time, this box can begin to read and form patterns. But how does it do that? Simply by reading everything and finding commonalities. So basically, it would read every text we feed into it one by one. For example, if I have uploaded 10 million articles about animals, almost 6 to 7 articles would probably have a sentence that says, I have a dog and he has 4 legs. And most probably this sentence would come again and again, because in most cases, if there's an article on the internet about a dog, it will mention that it has 4 legs. Therefore, my AI box will automatically start learning that if I have a dog, he will have 4 legs. But then, in the real world, I can have a female dog that only has 3 legs because of an accident. But because my training data was biased, AI would not be able to accurately predict anything correctly about my dog. This is a very important concept. The current form of AI that you and I use, whether it's inside ChatGPT or Google Gemini or even Claude, is limited because it has been trained on a specific limited training data. OpenAI, who has created ChatGPT, had its own data. Anthropic, who has created Claude, has its own data. This data has not come from AI's real life experiences. It has come from the internet and their personal files. But you and I both know that information on the internet is not the most accurate representation of how the world works. The real world is way more nuanced and subjective. That is why a tool like Claude needs our help to fill in those gaps. Before we move ahead, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Odoo. Instead of spending thousands on multiple productivity and business tools, you can use Odoo for free to get no-code websites or invoice creators or project management and a lot more in just one single place. You can use any of the apps, and the first app is free for lifetime with unlimited hosting and support. You can get started by going to the link in description, creating a free account and following the instructions. Their project management tool is a goldmine for freelancers because it helps you organize tasks, collaborate with team members and track your progress. More than 12 million happy users are growing their businesses using Odoo. Their apps are easy to use and seamlessly integrate with each other. If you're a freelancer, then I'd recommend you to check out their apps for invoicing, websites, e-commerce and social marketing. If you're an entrepreneur, then their apps for inventory, manufacturing, recruitment and expenses will save you a lot of time and money. So if you're struggling with inefficiencies and extra subscription costs, then Odoo's powerful suite of apps will help you get things done faster and at a cost that is lower than ever before. I've already released a short tutorial on their project management tool in our last income video. I'll share that link in description. Let's go back to the masterclass. You need to understand that the current form of AI that you and I use today is not behind us or ahead of us. It is here to stand next to us. If we are smart enough, then we can complement the weaknesses of AI and work together to build great things. But if you don't learn or upskill, then AI will get ahead of you in many ways. If you don't have real life experiences, or if you lack clear thinking, or if you simply don't understand human psychology, then you will lose your edge to AI. Because for AI to understand how human beings behave and think on a day-to-day basis is actually very tricky. Now, your task number 2 is to ask yourself and find out at least 3 things that you feel AI would never be able to replace. Write them down in your comment and explain why AI would never be able to do that. I want everyone to publicly see what all answers and reasonings do we get in the comment section. And we expect you to support us on this journey. If you complete all of these tasks, remember you will get a chance to win a printed certificate from us. By the way, just doing task 1 and task 2 is not enough because task 3 is highly important as well. And I'll tell you task 3 at the end of the video. Now, coming back, is AI all about ChatGPT or Claude? No. AI has actually almost 6 subjects under it, and I want you to spend just a few minutes with me to understand what they are. On the very top, we have machine learning or ML. This subject is all about building a machine that can learn and improve from experience. ChatGPT and Claude are an application of machine learning. But let me give you some very basic use cases of machine learning because this is not very new. You and I have been using the applications of machine learning since a very long time. The spam warning on your emails, or Netflix recommending you a movie based on your history, or even Instagram recommending you content. All of these are very basic applications of machine learning. Now, within machine learning, we have another subset called deep learning or DL. Deep learning is also about learning and improving, but deep learning is very close to how human beings learn. It uses a technique which is very similar to a technique that our human brains use, which is called a neural network. Our brains have real neural networks, whereas deep learning algorithms use artificial neural networks. And if you want to learn more about this, just ask Claude once I've taught you this, because you don't need me for that. Now, examples of deep learning include voice assistants like Siri or Alexa that are trained on a big data of possibilities, but they actually never really know what you will ask. So at some level, they need to think a little more logically as compared to an email spam filter or Netflix recommendations. Then we have natural language processing or NLP. This allows a machine to understand text and then respond to questions written in text. And it deals with figuring out the emotion behind a specific text as well. Features like summarization of articles also comes under NLP. Next, we have computer vision that helps a machine look at things. Stuff like facial recognition systems or those CCTV cameras that you see at red light that can capture cars over a speed limit, that is also an application of computer vision. Any AI image reader or creator, all of these are applications of computer vision. Now you're probably wondering, Ansh, where does Claude come into this? Where does ChatGPT come into this? Are all of these tools ML or DL or NLP? Like, what is it? So let me just simplify this. On the very top, we have AI. Assume AI has two branches. AI actually has a lot of branches, but just for simplicity, let's assume it only has two branches because that is what we are studying today. So you have machine learning and natural language processing. Now within machine learning, we have deep learning. So deep learning is actually a subset of machine learning. And then within deep learning, we have a new concept called large language models. Now, as I said, this is an oversimplification. In reality, this is how the branching really looks like. And you can always Google or ask Claude to understand this. But for now, let me explain you what is an LLM or a large language model. Assume you have a robot friend who loves to read books and learn from the sentences in that book. Now, this robot has three skills. Number one, it can read a lot very fast. Number two, if you give it a topic, it can remember what it has read so far and then write new things about this topic. But obviously, it has only learned from the books you have asked it to read. And number three, if you ask it a question, it will quickly find answers from its memory and try to form new interesting perspectives from everything it has read so far. If you give it an incomplete sentence, it will help you finish that sentence as well. Now, this robot is not as smart as a human being because even as human beings, we don't just read and remember. We do a lot more. But this robot can read a lot and also remember all of it. And this robot is actually what an LLM looks like. And LLMs are not perfect. As we move ahead in the lecture, you'll understand how LLMs are actually working inside ChatGPT or Claude. Now, before we move to chapter 2, let's quickly revise what we learned in chapter number 1. We understood how AI learns and how large language models are an application of AI. AI has a lot of things, and it's not just ChatGPT. It has a whole squad of subjects like machine learning, deep learning, NLP, and computer vision. LLMs like Claude and ChatGPT are trained on limited data, so they need our human touch and human intervention to navigate the nuances of the real world. If that is clear, let's start with chapter number 2, Basics of Claude AI. I want you to first visit Claude.ai and then just add your email address to get the OTP. Once you've logged in, you'll have a free account, and this is how the interface would look like. Right now, I'm on my paid plan, but even on the free plan, this is how it would look like. So you have your input field. This is where you can upload your files, and this is where you can start the conversation. Now, Claude is also an LLM, but all of these LLMs have different versions or models. For example, the free ChatGPT LLM gives you access to GPT 3.5. To get their advanced GPT-4 model, you need to pay extra. Now, Claude is owned by this company called Anthropic. And just how ChatGPT has different models like ChatGPT 3.5 and GPT-4, in Claude, you have access to 3 models. Now, if I come here and say, hello, you'd notice that I have this drop down right here. If I click on it, I can see 3 options. So the free one is called Haiku. And then we have Sonnet. And then on the very top, we have Opus. You can use Haiku for free, but Sonnet and Opus are paid. So you have to pay around $23.6 a month, which is almost 2,000 rupees a month. And it's more expensive than ChatGPT. And I would first suggest you to learn on the free version, which is Haiku, because you need to figure out how this tool works. And if you feel that it's worth it, only then you should invest in it. Now, as you can see from this graph, Haiku is least intelligent, but also the fastest. Opus is the smartest, but it takes maximum time. And Sonnet comes somewhere in the middle. It's a good balance of speed and accuracy. Now, you can use these LLMs in your own products. And there are so many AI startups that are using these LLMs to become intelligent. These AI startups are actually just a different skin on an LLM. And all of these startups are called wrappers. Most AI companies out there are actually running on ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini LLMs. You as a consumer can use these LLMs via chat. So when I come to Claude on this website, I am using the Claude LLM. And which LLM? It could be Sonnet, it could be Opus, it could be any model. And I'm using this via chat because chatting is very easy, right? It's the easiest interaction that people have learned on the internet. So before moving to chapter number 3, let's quickly revise chapter number 2. Claude has 3 models: Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. Haiku is free, while paid plans will cost you around 2000 rupees a month or $23.6 a month. Most AI startups are actually wrappers on top of these popular LLMs. So if you're trying to create an AI startup, instead of thinking how can I make AI, you need to ask yourself how can I use these LLMs in my own product. You can use LLMs in any way you want, but most people use it via a chatbot. Now let's start with chapter number 3, Basics of Prompt Engineering, which is the main chapter of this entire course. Prompt engineering is nothing but your ability to set context and add constraints. AI doesn't know who you are and what you want. Prompting is all about educating AI about your specific needs. Right now, AI tools are new, so prompting as a skill is very important. Moving forward, the value of prompting will go down because if you write a terrible prompt, AI will automatically ask you more questions to improve it. See, there is a checklist for writing a great prompt, and I will teach you that checklist in just a few minutes. Any task that has a checklist can be easily automated using AI. So my prediction is that eventually all of these tools will learn how to improve your prompt on their own. Right now, they don't do it very well. Hence, it's important to learn the basics of prompt engineering to get ahead. Now, I know these concepts are very new. You will have to watch this video at least 2 times. I am not exaggerating. You have to watch this video 2 times because it's just very fresh. But I'm telling you, it's absolutely worth it. And you might also have to ask more follow-up questions either in Claude or ChatGPT. But trust me, having this basic understanding of how LLMs work, of how models work, can take you ahead of 99% of the people in your industry. Now let's understand what all can we do using Claude. I've done so much of theory, it's time that we actually get into the tool. And I will categorize the use cases into 2 categories: text-based and image-based. And within text-based, I will cover summarization, writing and editing, and discussions. And there are many more use cases. This QR code right here will open up a page that will have all of these free links and documentations neatly organized. Let me show you one example for all of these 3 use cases. But before that, I want you to understand that as smart people, we need to use AI for our first draft and not last. This thing cannot replace your brain and creativity. It is a co-pilot and it is standing next to you and not ahead of you. If you're watching me for the first time, then I'd strongly recommend you to see our Basics of AI playlist because there I've already explained how AI and humans actually work together. Moreover, anytime you're writing a prompt, please make sure you follow this 4-part checklist. Number 1, assign a relevant role. If you want marketing advice, then say act as a marketing specialist. Step number 2, set the context and define your task. Tell AI who are you and what are you trying to achieve. Step number 3, set constraints. Otherwise, AI will assume that you have unlimited resources, unlimited time, unlimited people, unlimited money. And in the end, clearly define expectations. Now, what do I mean by all of these steps? Let me teach you via examples. So let's start with summarization because that is the easiest use case to learn. Basically, I can paste long articles, documents, and PDFs to get quick summaries. Let me show you how it works. So let's just say I go to Google and type UX design PDF. And let's click on the first link. It is from the University of Mumbai. And let's just say that as a student, I want to analyze this PDF. I have an exam on this PDF. Now, as you can see, this is a very, very detailed PDF, extremely well written, and it has almost 188 slides. Now I can download this. Now I'll come back to Claude, click on this file icon, and then choose this PDF. And now this is the prompt that I will paste. Read this PDF and summarize module 1 for me in a simple language. Now I can choose haiku, sonnet, or opus. Let's just say I choose haiku, which is the free plan. And then I'll press on send. In less than 30 seconds, I actually got a very brief summary of module 1, which is supremely impressive. Now, this is where people make mistakes. If you're studying for a real exam, then you cannot rely on this AI generated summary. You should first read module 1 on your own and then use this summary to make quick notes. If you're simply researching through multiple PDFs and you're not sure about what you want to learn, then you can get summaries without reading the actual content. Or sometimes you have to find something from a really long PDF which is not explicitly written and maybe you have to do a lot of pattern recognition. In that case, you can do the same. But make sure that the entire PDF has text in it. Now, what do I mean by that? If I open this PDF, you'd realize that I can copy this text. This is not a scanned JPEG. right? So this is very, very important, because if it is a scan of JPEGs, it really won't work that well. Now, this prompt that I just showed you right now was very straightforward and very simple. However, I can follow my 4-part checklist and get a much better response. And I'm sticking to Haiku because a lot of you people will be using the free plan, so I will not switch to Opus for now. We'll cover that in our upcoming episodes when we do advanced stuff. So the new optimized prompt would look like this. I am a student of UX design and I have an MCQ quiz coming up this week from Module 1. I want you to read Module 1 and analyze what all MCQ questions can come from that module. First, give me a list of all important bullet points in a simple and easy to understand language. Then highlight all important keywords and terms I should know about. Do not sound like an AI. Keep your suggestions relevant and to the point. Now let me break down this prompt for you, because you need to understand the logic behind this prompt and how have I written this prompt. Firstly, I have skipped assigning a role because this task is not about copywriting or marketing or anything very specific. So you can always skip that step. But by saying I am a student of UX design and I have an MCQ quiz coming up, I am setting the context. I am educating Claude about who I am and in what context am I using him. By saying I want you to read module 1 and analyze what all MCQ questions can come from that module, I am defining the task. And by saying highlight all important keywords and terms that I should know about, I am setting the constraints as to what exactly do I want. I want proper bullet points. Now, where is the constraint? Because I'm specifically saying give me bullet points, highlight the keywords and all the important terms. So by doing all of this, and by saying do not sound like an AI, keep your suggestions relevant and to the point, I am setting expectations that this is the kind of output that I expect from you. Now let me press enter. And this was the answer that we got from module number 1, which is useful. It is time saving. But now let me show you the difference we get when we do these things well. So it has come up with 3 important definitions, specific bullet points, key terms and keywords. And then it is also giving me important guidelines on preparing for my quiz. Now you can obviously see the difference between results that come from a basic prompt versus a well-engineered prompt. Now this specific use case of summarization can help you research on any subject faster by uploading content and saying summarize this as if I'm a 10-year-old. So if you're trying to learn about quantum mechanics or stock market or fundamental analysis, you can upload any PDF and say explain this specific module to me as if I'm a 10-year-old. Then you can understand complicated articles or even research papers, because there are so many research papers that are very difficult to understand, but then you can use this thing right here to easily understand the most complicated subjects. All you need to do is upload your PDF. Then you can summarize your own typed notes so that you can revise easily just before an exam. To do that, just upload them to Claude. Ask it to read all of the content, and in fact ask it to make a short quiz out of them, so it can actually read from your notes and then quiz you. So if you have notes of a topic that you are weak in, you can only export those notes and then ask Claude to quiz you. And you can do this in any LLM, by the way. It's not just for Claude, but basically anywhere. But imagine how useful this can be for you. And in Claude, you can upload up to 5 documents. So if I hover over here, you can see the limitation that you can upload up to 5 documents with a limit of 10 MB each. So basically you can upload 5 reports and ask Claude to summarize everything in those PDFs, or maybe even find patterns. Now let's start with use case number 2, writing and editing. Because I have personally used AI to get inspiration for my social media captions or emails, proposals, outlines for, basic presentations and YouTube titles. And you don't need me to list out all the prompts because you already have the 4-part checklist. I regularly share useful prompts on my Instagram broadcast channel, and you can scan this QR code to join it for free, because I share a lot of resources and behind the scenes and updates only on my Instagram broadcast. Now, because I've told you the use cases and the checklist, I personally feel that this is all you really need, but I would still show you a quick example. So let's assume I want inspiration for YouTube titles and you are working with me in my team on my YouTube channel. Now you should prompt something like this. Act as a YouTube title specialist who's an expert at long form viral infotainment content. I want you to give me 10 clickbaity titles around the topic of AI and designers working together. Keep the titles simple but catchy. Do not make them very verbose. For each title, give me 3 bullet points of what I should cover and do not sound like an AI. Now, I'll press enter and let's see what it does. Now, even though I have got a lot of ideas, the important rule here is that you use AI for your first draft and not the last. I'm reminding you again and again, which means that I will use this to get quick ideas, but blended with my own human experience, my own understanding of what works for my audience. Because if I blindly copy what AI gives me, my content will start to look like everybody else's content. And this subtlety in the shift of, working with AI is very, very important to understand. Because if brands fire their creative people and rely on AI, they will stand the risk of sounding like everyone else, which defeats the entire point. The real game changers are going to be teams that combine their human brain with AI. And we've already explained this process in detail on our AI playlist. You can always visit our free website, howtoprompt.in, to get all of those free courses. In fact, here is a little homework for you. I just explained you what is AI, but I never really explained you what is generative AI and why is it called generative AI. And how is it different from any other type of an AI? You should ask Claude and figure out what is generative AI and why is it named that way. Because that will teach you how do you learn something new with the help of AI. Because it's going to be the biggest strength available. Now let's cover our last use case, which is about having discussions. And this is my favorite one because it allows me to use AI's intelligence and my intelligence together. But before I do that, I want to quickly take you through the entire interface. See, on the very top, we have the menu. So if I click on menu, I will go back to this homepage right here. If I click on my conversation, I will come back to my history. If I click on plus, I will open a new chat. Now let me go back to the menu again. And if you hover on top of anything, you will also see the shortcut key for it. Now let's just say I start or even resume any of my older conversations. If I click on this chevron, I can rename it or delete the conversation. Here I can copy this. If I'm not satisfied with the response, I can click on retry and it will rerun the same prompt again and you will get a different result. Now at the very bottom, you can switch between different models. So if I click on Sonnet, it's not that in the middle of the conversation, I will switch from Haiku to Sonnet. No, because if I click on Sonnet, it opens up a new conversation altogether. So please be aware of that it opens a new conversation for a specific model. On the top right corner, if I click on chat controls, you will see if you've added any images or PDFs or spreadsheets, because once you use a conversation again and again, you should be able to access all of your documents. So if I go back to my menu, and let's say I go to the summarizing thing, here when I open chat controls, you can actually see the PDF and then you can also see the extracted content from that PDF. So this is the content that it has read. Here I can also choose between different fonts, and here is my account details. So I have already subscribed to the pro plan, and then in your account settings you can always go and fix your billing operations. Now there is no mobile app for Claude, so you would have to use this either on your web browser or on your phone browser. It always tells you that Claude can make mistakes, so please double check your responses. I also say the same. Then they have this small notification that says that for our most intelligent model, switch to Claude 3 Opus. So with that being clear, I want us to start with a new use case, and then I'll open a new chat, and this time let me start with Opus because I think we haven't tried it yet and I want to see you how creative it gets. Anytime I'm working on my startup idea or a video idea or even a workshop for any client, I would first discuss the entire context and syllabus with AI. And this is how the template works. Let's say you are trying to achieve X for a specific set of people, Y. This is how the prompt template would look like. I am trying to do X for Y. I want you to think from the lens of an expert of X and tell me all the important perspectives, views, and angles I should consider while working on X. So if I'm doing this for an AI workshop for UX designers, I would say something like this. I am trying to host a workshop on basics of AI for UX designers at a fintech startup. I want you to think from the lens of an expert of UX design and AI and tell me all the important perspectives, views, and angles I should consider while working on this pitch deck. I have a 45-minute slot. I cannot demo, but I can speak about interesting mindset shifts. Include important concepts, use cases, relevant examples, and bullet points for the entire pitch deck. And then I will press enter. Now, if you remember a bit of our checklist, you would obviously notice that I have added the context, I have set the constraints, I have put the exact expectation that I need, right? So I've said that I only have 45 minutes, I cannot demo, etc., etc. And now, as a professional, I can use this to get a kickstart. This answer is not a replacement to my deck. but I'm 100% sure that this answer can give me a lot of points that I would have missed out in the beginning. So imagine that if I compete with anybody else in the same market, and if that person doesn't understand this, even if that person knows about Claude, but that person has no clue about this prompting checklist, I will always have more leverage. And you can do this for anything, for planning, for strategy, for research. Imagine how powerful you can be. And it's so strange why nobody is talking about this openly, why people are just not learning about this, why businesses are not doing this. Right? And that is what I am trying to do as well. That is why we have been going on consulting to many businesses, giving workshops, giving all of these trainings. Now, I'll give you 3 more tips, which are very, very important when you're using these tools in your day-to-day work. Number 1, always ask AI first. I used to first go to YouTube and Google, but now I always ask AI because AI helps me find the signal from the noise. Earlier, there were not enough resources to learn from. Today, there are too many resources to learn from. So you obviously get confused, you don't know where to start. But now with a tool like Claude or ChatGPT, you can easily find the most valuable things and the order in which you need to learn those things. So if you get stuck at any specific use case, even from the QR code, and if you have any doubts, just ask AI. Anytime I go for live workshops, a lot of people come to me and say, Ansh, can AI do this for me? Can ChatGPT write this? Can Claude think about that? I would never know the answer. The only way you can get an accurate answer is by putting the prompts at use, because you know your subject well, right? I would have no clue about your subject. So the only way to see if Claude or ChatGPT can help you is by using it. But most people are not using it. And you can always ask AI if it can do whatever you're trying to do. And you should always ask what all it would need to help you. So with that, I come to tip number 2, that always allow AI to cross question. Always add that ask me more questions if you need clarity. So if I say, give me a pitch for a tech client, ask more questions if you need clarity. When I do that, I basically give AI permission to cross-question me, because otherwise AI would always assume that I can't ask more. Now, this is where prompt engineering changes, because if you don't write a good prompt, if you write just one single sentence that asks me more questions if you need clarity, this itself is helping you write a better prompt. This is all about becoming a better prompter. But a lot of people don't know this trick, right? So if you are missing a lot of important details, always allow AI to cross-question you so that you can improve your prompts and get better results. And tip number 3, upload examples for tonality. See, if you want to learn it from your specific writing style or your tone of voice, upload at least 10 articles or scripts or proposals written by you, and then ask it to learn how you write, because how will it know your specific style? It is too unique to you. And a lot of people say that, oh, I ask ChatGPT or Claude to write content and script and it doesn't sound like me. Obviously, it will not sound like you because you have not given enough examples. So please make sure that if you're writing content or emails, please input your own examples first. Now, your task number 3 is to try any of these use cases that I've just taught you. Take a screenshot or a video recording and then explain your learnings either on LinkedIn, X or Instagram. Copy the link to that post and simply reply to your comment on this YouTube video. Exactly 5 days from now, my team will go through the comment section of this video to check your notes, and then we will finalize top entries. Now, this certification is not going to help you get a job or something. It is just a way to appreciate that you have completed something. My certificate, any other certificate, none of these things actually help you get a great job. Even if you put thousands of certificates on your LinkedIn profile, it's not going to do anything for you. I don't have any certifications in UX or AI. The reason I'm doing this is that you have a goal now. It's just a nice thing to have. And I want you to finish this course end to end. I could have made this into a paid course as well. I could have directly come to just showing you the tool and showing you the features, and I'm 100% sure there's going to be someone in the comment section saying, oh, there's so much of theory, where is the features, where is the fancy stuff? The truth is, you never needed me for the fancy stuff. There are many people teaching all of those tools and systems. You need me to understand how do you use AI in the first place? What is the mindset shift that you need to have this year? Now, we just finished text-based use cases, but image-based use cases are still left, where you can use Claude to analyze user interfaces or website screenshots or brochures and graphs and a lot more. So if I go here You can obviously upload any image on this and just ask questions again and again. But I want to check if people even want this category of content. So if this video performs well, I will script part 2, because I don't know if people are interested, if people are even finishing this level of content. Our goal is to hit 2000 likes and 1000 comments on this video. So if you want us to make such content, I want your support. I want you to finish all of your tasks and then let me know in the comments if you want part 2, where we use Claude to analyze images. Now, before I end this video, I want to show you all a very cool website that can help you compare different LLMs for free. So remember I told you that Claude has an LLM, ChatGPT has an LLM. Similarly, there's Mixtral, there is Llama 2. So what you need to do is you need to go to chat.lmsys.org. It takes a time. Sometimes it does this verification thing, but that's completely okay. And then go to Arena side by side. Now this is extremely cool because you can choose different models, model A and model B. So here in model A, I can choose Claude 3 Opus, and here I can probably choose, say, ChatGPT 4 Turbo. And then you can put your prompt here, click on send, and get answers from both of these models. And these are paid models, by the way. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have tried it, so it works for a lot of cases. And it's not just for GPT-4, you have every single popular LLM available right here. So when it comes to like Mistral or even Llama, and even, the Google Gemini models, like all of these things are available for free. So you access not just Claude, ChatGPT or Gemini, but all the other LLM models, and you can compare which one works the best for you before you actually purchase. So let me copy paste my same prompt and put it here and click on send. So now you can see that for GPT-4 Turbo, it's not working because the model limit has been reached. It's probably because a lot of people are trying to use GPT-4 Turbo from their website. But on the left side, I can get access to Opus. So Opus worked and Opus is paid. So that's very cool. Let me refresh and start again. So Meta also is building its own LLM called Llama 2. And let's just say instead of Claude 3, let's try Llama 2 13B. And here I'll probably go and check Claude 3 Opus and then paste my prompt and then click on send. So now Claude 3 Opus limit has reached, but now Llama is available. So, you'd have to hit and try. See, no valuable thing in the world is for free. I keep telling this to people. A lot of people say, I want a free tool. I want a free tool. Nothing good enough comes for free. It's always a free trial. So I think this resource is good. If you have a lot of time to do a hit and trial, you can always do that. And if you click on share, then it creates a JPEG of both of these answers, and then you can sort of share with your people. So if I click on this thing, so you can save all of these responses very easily. I'll be waiting to see everyone's submission. You have 5 days from today to complete your task, and make sure you click on subscribe and hit the bell icon because we regularly upload content on AI and UX design. I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This is your dost Ansh Mehra signing out. If you enjoyed this video, then do check out this video of the same series. I am sure that it will help you even more.